Appreciate, John, you've probably got to go into a medical meeting and get all the updates very shortly. I just wondered if Paddy Madden is going to be on the agenda of that meeting. We talked about him a bit after the Bromley game. Do you know what the situation is there?
Yeah, so he didn't train yesterday. He's got a little bit of swelling. So, he's done a little bit of running, but he's just got a little bit of swelling on. So we'll see how that goes. See if that's come down. We'll speak to Ollie in a bit and find out more on that.
As far as longer term ones are concerned, is there any sort of additions to your squad for training this week? Have you got any encouragement?
No, there's only, I think at the minute, Tyler's still long term, Kelsey Mooney and Freddie Sass possibly next week. So he's the only one probably close, Freddie really. Other than that, no, that's it.
Okay. In terms of this week, you lost the game last weekend. It was the end of the unbeaten run in the league that you've been on. Have you seen a reaction from the players? I know you'll have been sat analysing and looking at it. Is there a sense of wanting to put it right and make sure that it ends at one defeat? Yeah,
well, that's it. That's all you can do. You've got to start another run, haven't you? So one comes to an end and then you've got to start another one. So, perfect one where we're going to Cambridge and playing them Friday night. The reaction was one of disappointment on Saturday in the dressing room. You could see that. They've done ever so well in what Bromley threw at us. And by the way, they do what they do really, really well. And that's why they are in, I think, mid-playoffs at the minute, standing in the playoffs, not far from the automatic. So they're having good success with that. And rightly up there for the reasons, because they got the points. So we stood up to that task and we just didn't take our chances. And we spoke about that on Saturday, about taking your chances, and it's a different game, but it wouldn't change the way they play. They'll still ask all them questions, and we had all the answers for them by the 89th minute.
You went through a spell earlier in the season where you were getting into the areas and not taking the chances, and we talked about how you improve that and how you work on that, and lo and behold, you scored in 11 games in a row. How confident are you that you'll get back on that horse and you will start taking them again?
Oh, definitely, Dan. Definitely confident. I mean, as I said, you could see the Saturday, the disappointment. You get back in, you start your training again, and you can see the hunger and desire to go again. So, we have reflected on it, we have looked at it, we've looked at where we can be better in that moment anyway in the game, and how we can be better, not even conceding the corner, if you like. So, we reflect, you move on, you get back on the training grounds, and you want to start a run again. And we're really confident that we can create the chances that we've taken in the past.
How much of a difference does the Friday night scenario make to you? Obviously, you've got a night game instead of a Saturday afternoon. Is it a payoff between having more preparation time for the Christmas period and a bit less this week?
Exactly that, I think, yeah. Gives you time to get the game out the way, and then you've got a free weekend. So it won't be a free weekend for us because we'll probably be at games, watching their teams. So totally different. Friday night under the lights at Cambridge, new to us all really, but it's one that we're looking forward to be honest. And I mean, they're going well themselves, so it'll be a good game.
Do you expect it to be a different dynamic and atmosphere playing on a Friday night, particularly given the time of year it is, and people tend to say night games have a better atmosphere?
Yeah, I just think because you said the time of year, I think I'll be interested to see how many turn up. So I don't know what attendances they get Cambridge. I'm not too sure whether, because it was sort of arranged this more or less the start of the season. He asked the point he asked the club would be up for that. So we've said yet. So it's the time of year, isn't it? It's whether everyone going to turn up on the Friday night because they can all go Christmas shopping if you like on the Saturday, Sunday. I don't know, or they all doing Christmas shopping on the Friday, and then I don't know. So it's one remains to be seen, doesn't it, really?
What kind of a test does it pose for you? Because I think Cambridge have got the second best home record in the entire division.
I think they've had 3 draws. I think they might have all been away, actually. They've had a good draw last week at MK, then Chesterfield before that at home. And then I think the last home game was Crewe. They beat Crewe 2-1. So we know the challenge there. I think it's... as you just said, they're good at home, aren't they? So it's our job to, as I said, start a winning run again.
How much can you sort of lean into past experience? I remember, for example, you went to Chesterfield this season. They hadn't lost at home in a long time, and that was something we discussed before the game. And you went there and you were in front in the game and ultimately drew. Can that increase belief if you've gone and got a result against a team with a traditionally good record?
Yeah, I think so. I think exactly what you've said, but I think the beliefs with the squad anyway, I think the belief is is in winning the games, you know, that we've won, and the momentum that we had, and we've still got, just because you've had a negative result Saturday where we've lost to Bromley, but you've got to start again. So, you know, always good things come to an end, and then you've got to start again somewhere. So what a better time to do it, or chance to take, if you like, on a Friday night.
As far as your away form is concerned, I think over half your away points have come in the last 3 games. Does that improvement indicate something that you're doing better, something that you've worked on that you see in bearing fruit?
Well, we've been working on stuff defensively, but also, like, you know, we do a lot of patterns of play. So, you know, when the lads that are in the team, when they come into the team, they know exactly what's asked of them. So lads in the final third have that freedom to go and play and express themselves, because you've got to have them players who change games. You know, you've got Isaac Heath on one side, you've got Sean Worley. When he plays high, he runs in behind, and when he drops down low, you've got Paddy Madden, you've got Charlie Caton when he comes on, Josh Wood. So, you know, there's Alex Henderson, who's just come back from, you know, illness. So you've got all them players that have to take chances in the final third. So, you know, we've just got to keep playing and have the belief and the momentum which we've got, and take it into Friday and get back on a winning run and start another one.
In terms of what you prepare for, I think in recent weeks you've had kind of both ends of the spectrum. You've played at Crawley, for example, which is very much about build-up play and short passing. You played Bromley here, which is much more centred around that set-piece, direct play. Yeah. Where does this Neil Harris Cambridge team sit on that spectrum?
I think in between. I think they can play a little bit when they want. You know, they had a challenge themselves the other day against MK Dons. So I've watched a couple of their games, really. Different challenge when they played Chesterfield at home, because Chesterfield like to play a little bit as well. And also go long. So I think they've got a good balance within the team. They can play up to a target man. They can play off people. They've got threats in wide areas, and they've got threats from set plays. So we've got a good balance on both of how to play. So similar to ourselves, really.
What's this time of year like, John? I get the impression that perhaps you have to be wearing more hats than normal, because you've got so many games that you've got to think about. You can only obviously prepare in detail for one at once, but I guess, does the schedule play some part in your thinking? Have you also got to have half an eye on recruitment and the January transfer window that's around the corner?
All of that's on 1,000,000%. I mean, the recruitment didn't stop as soon as that last window shut. I think you get a week, a few days off, and then, you know, agents and people and people like you want to contact yourself. You start on that. So, you know, there has been discussions about certain things going on in terms of anyone leaving the building and people coming in, you know, that you'd have to have things in place just in case. We're hoping that no one goes out the building, but you just don't know. And in terms of the preparation for the games going forward, you'd have, so I take it back to Harrogate, where you can rotate a little bit. And you want to give lads a chance, you want to give lads a rest that have had a tired, or I wouldn't say tireful week, but, like, you know, a really demanding month, if you like. So they need a bit of a blow, if you like, or to recharge. But you've got lads who can come off the bench, like we did against Harrogate, and we got a result there, a positive one, which was great. So we need to do that again. And even though we are thinking about Cambridge, and that's the next game and the most important game, there is thinking ahead as well in terms of how you can rotate, how you can change. Do you need to change how, you know, and who you're going to change? So that is all ongoing, yeah. Is
this potentially for a player the best time of the season if you've not been starting regularly, because you're probably going to get more chance? Yeah,
well, I've said that to one or two of them, like, you know, because I know people and players have been a player myself. You're not happy sitting on the bench. You want to play. Everyone wants to play, but you also know that, you know, you can't play every game. So it's nowadays anyway, because of the amount of games that you do play. And this period coming up now, it's really, really busy. There will be some sort of rotation at times, whether it's through suspension or injuries as well. So they've just got to bide the time, the players, and then when that comes, they have to take it.
I just wanted to ask a couple of things about the build-up to a window and that preparation. Just on your loan players, some of whom have become really integral to that starting 11. Yeah. What's the situation with those loan deals? Is it part of the deal that they can be recalled in January?
It's always the case. So there's always a little break in the January window where the club can call them back. As we've had with Dara before, we had Dara Costello from Burnley. He done really well for us, got called back, and then went to a high league and done well for for Northampton and then got sold to Wigan Athletic. So we helped them in that development. So that's the case with all our loan players that we've got, and it's a case where we can send them back. So if they're not performing or for whatever reason, we can send them back. Or the player himself can say, I don't like it here, and he wants to go back. So that's the case. That is not going to happen in terms of the players that we've got, because they're all the conversations have been going on before that. So what we've just touched on before about the January window coming up and this, that and the other, we've been having them conversations with the clubs to say what their thoughts are. We've definitely been having the conversation with the players, and the players are more than happy and really happy in the club that they're at now and what they're doing and what they're producing on the pitch.
Is there a situation where you want them to do well but not too well? Because if they do too well, their parent club might want to send them to League One or whatever.
Dan, that's always going to happen, isn't it? But there's nothing you can do. So the only thing you can do is do your work on it in terms of speaking to the agent, speaking to the club first and foremost, the agent, the player himself. And if the club decide that they have to call him back, they call him back. There's nothing you can do about that. We don't want anyone to leave here, and as it stands right now, that is the case.
And you say you don't want anyone to leave. In terms of contracted players, there has been some talk, particularly about Ben Ward, who's been catching the eye probably ever since he signed, but certainly in the last month or so. Is it inevitable that people will be interested, clubs will be scouting, they will be thinking about moves for your players? If they're doing well, do you have to try and take that as a compliment?
It is a compliment, isn't it? So that's football. I've always said, if you do your job on the pitch, you'll get rewarded at the club with whatever that is, new contracts, whatever, pay rises and stuff, or you end up going somewhere else and playing at a higher league because you're doing your job and you're doing it well as an individual. So not just one individual, there's quite a number of individuals that have done really, really well since they come in the building. That's part of the coaching, part of how we're helping them along on and off the field. Me and Jeb Brannan, the other staff behind the scenes as well. So, you know, we've created an environment which they can thrive on, and they have, and that's, you know, a pat on the back because to us all, because now the lads are getting the plaudits they deserve for the performances that potentially could take them into higher leagues.